Paradise Called Texas by Janice Jordan Scheffelman. Chapter 17, While Papa is Away. When Frau Kaufmann took sick, Mina was sent to live with the Bickenbachs. The Kaufmanns were almost like her own family, and Mina wished she did not have to leave. As she walked down the road to the Bickenbachs that afternoon, she stepped on every tree stump she came to. It was a game, and Mina could not pass one without first standing on top. The walk to the Bickenbachs' cabin took twice as long this way. There was no one her age in the Bickenbach family. The children, 2 sons and 2 daughters, were all grown up, and only the daughters remained at home. When Mina came to their place on Austin Street, Lisette, the eldest daughter, stood in the doorway. "Welcome, Mina," Lisette said as she stepped outside. The sun shone on her smooth brown hair, which was pulled back over her ears in a braided bun. Her dark eyes sparkled with life. How pretty she is, Mina thought. Lisette put her arm around Mina's shoulders. "Come now, and I will show you where you will sleep." Inside the cabin, Frau Bickenbach cooked at the hearth. She looked up as they entered and smiled. "Guten Abend, Mina. Supper will be ready soon." She was a plump, motherly woman and made Mina feel at home. Lisette led the way up to the loft. It was dark and hot, and Mina could feel the sweat trickling down her face and neck. Lisette took a handkerchief out of her pocket and patted her face. "I hope it cools off before bedtime, or we shall never be able to sleep here." That night, a rainstorm came, and the big drops pounded the roof so close above Mina. With the rain came cooler air. The Bickenbachs were already asleep downstairs, but up in the loft a candle still burned. Mina lay on her mattress, listening to the rain. Lisette's sister, Frederica, was combing out her long dark hair. Lisette opened the trunk. "Mina, I think I have a nightgown here that would fit you." Mina looked down at her own. It was several inches too short for her now. She got up and went over to the trunk. Lisette held the nightgown up to Mina. It was white cotton with lace and blue ribbon around the neck and hem. "Oh, Tante Lisette, how beautiful!" "You know, Mina, my grandmother in Germany made it for me when I was about your age, so now it is yours." Lisette's eyes glittered in the candlelight. "Thank you." Mina ran her hands over the smooth white cloth and touched the lace. Lisette smiled at Mina. "Here, let me undo your braids." She untied the ribbons and fluffed Mina's hair. Then Lisette uncoiled her own brown, shiny hair and shook it loose. It reached down to her waist, and Mina thought how pretty she looked with her hair flowing down. "Now we must go to sleep so you can be up early for school tomorrow." Lisette blew out the candle. School again! Mina had almost forgotten. She was anxious to go back to school, even if there was no schoolhouse yet. She lay down to sleep, but her eyes did not close. She was thinking of Papa and wondering where he lay down to sleep that night. Lisette and Frederica began to breathe deep breaths of sleep. Mina closed her eyes in the darkness. How dear Lisette was, already like a sister to her, or was she more like a mother? In the morning, Mina was up early, dressed, washed her face and hands in a pan of water just outside the cabin. She could smell the cornbread cooking over the fire. Frau Bickenbach cooked while Lisette and Frederica set the table. Then, together with Herr Bickenbach, they ate breakfast. "Well, Mina, once again you go back to school," said Herr Bickenbach, and he bit off a piece of cornbread. "Yeah, today I will learn to speak English, I hope." Everyone laughed. "Then you must teach me, Mina," Lisette said. "I will." As she started on her way to school along Schubert Street, she saw Anna coming from the other direction and ran to meet her. "Anna, how is your mother?" "About the same." Anna looked down at the dirt road. "She still has fever and is very weak." A school bell rang sharply through the morning air. "Let us hurry." Mina took Anna by the hand. The 2 girls turned down San Saba Street toward the spreading post oak tree. Lined up underneath its branches were some wooden benches. A few children already sat there, and Herr Leidendecker stood facing them, awaiting the rest of his pupils, holding the bell in one hand. He was a strong, robust young man with a broad smile. As Mina and Anna chose seats on the girls' side, his voice boomed out. "Guten Morgen, Mina. Guten Morgen, Anna." "Guten Morgen, Herr Leidendecker," they replied in chorus. When all the children had gathered, Herr Leidendecker said, "Now we shall begin. First, I want the youngest children on the front row, and the oldest in the back. The rest of you arrange yourselves in between. After everyone had done as he asked, he continued, Now, my children, we have yet no books, no paper or pens, and we have only these branches for a roof. He looked upward and spread his arms. But we have pupils and we have a teacher, so we shall begin lessons. First, we shall learn to say Guten Morgen in English. It is good morning. He exaggerated the formation of each sound with his mouth. Now repeat. Good morning. All the children answered at once. Each evening, Mina would teach Lisette the English words she had learned that day, and together they practiced pronouncing them. Your papa will be so surprised when he returns to hear how much English you have learned, Mina. After school one day, Mina was working in the garden. The hot sun had baked the ground dry and wilted the plants. She had to bring water from the creek or everything would die. It was hard work, and Mina struggled with the heavy bucket of water up the bank. In spite of her efforts, some of the water sloshed out and onto her feet as she walked, balancing the heavy load with her free arm outstretched. As she set the bucket down on the ground, she heard the creaking of a wagon on the road, and then Papa's voice directing the oxen, Gee, gee, to turn right. Mina ran toward the road, and there was Papa. He stopped, spread his arms, and she flung herself into them. At first they said nothing, just held each other tightly. At last, Mina released her hold on Papa and looked at him. His face looked somehow older and tired. Papa, what is wrong? She looked closely into his face for a sign. How glad I am to be back with you. Papa smiled, his sad smile. Then in answer to her questioning look, he added, It's nothing, Mina. I'm just tired from the journey and the heat. Then he pointed to the back of the wagon. But look what I have brought you. There, tied up behind the wagon, was a beautiful spotted milk cow, all reddish brown and white. Run now, get a pail of milker. She went to the cow and patted her forehead. As Papa unhitched the oxen, Mina filled a pail with frothy white milk. She carried the pail inside, poured some into 2 cups, and she and Papa drank the warm milk. Ah, Papa sighed, it is good to be home. There were many people sick in New Braunfels that I am thankful we came to Fredericksburg. The sickness is being brought from Indian Point, I fear. Papa stood up. Well, Mina, but he did not finish. He put his hand to his forehead and sat down again. What is it, Papa? Mina felt a pang of alarm. Oh, I'm just a little dizzy. Here, Papa, you must lie down. You are overtired. Mina helped Papa to his bed. When he was lying down, she felt his forehead, and it was burning hot. Papa, I'm afraid you have a fever. I must go for Dr. Schubert.